Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. Chris and I have been busy today, and Chris, we didn't get your camera in here yet. So, hey, really cool stuff going on. Just finished up a very big job. I'm going to do it. Don't just dream about it, do it. Take either of the options where you will have access to all the materials and me as your mentor for months and maybe even years. Herb, who's a real estate agent, been in my class for about 18 months, and turn around in 5 months he bought a house to make ready and or fix her up or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, he made over $100,000. I think he made $105,000. By the way, I had a seminar last night, or a webinar. I keep getting corrected on that. And in the webinar, we welcome new students, by the way. We got some great people that just signed on, and again, it's just unbelievable. There was somebody else in there that was talking about how they learned more in my webinar than they learned from somebody they've been paying for the last 6 months. So it's really pathetic out there how bad the mentorship industry is really suffering. Really sucks. And we're going to talk about it more. By the way, you see these properties that are flashing on behind me? Every one of these properties that you see behind me is a property that I have purchased, and I either still own it or it's something I've sold and made money on. Every time I see them, because I can see what you guys are seeing, there's a story with every one of them. All kinds of cool stuff. In fact, that one there, I think I made $2,500 on an assignment fee a long time ago, like 40 years ago. But so, hey, we'll be right back with you. I got Chris here. I'll fix his camera, and we'll be right back.
It's the best thing I ever did!
You want land. Who doesn't want land, right? Well,
You ain't a little baby,
I don't.
You ain't cry baby, you ain't stupid baby, you ain't dumb.
Yeah,
I need my money, I gotta buy a
All
Rolex.
kinds of gurus joining us.
Oh, that's funny.
You want land. Who doesn't want land, right?
I'm going to go a little bit easy on Kevin these days. All right, there we go. So listen,
Me Kevin had a good one just a couple days ago. Chat GPT.
Oh, did he? I have to check that out. Yeah, this Chat GPT.
We can talk about that later. I didn't want to interrupt your flow. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But that's a pretty cool tool.
Yeah. So look, Chris. Talk, Chris.
Here.
Okay, is he hear you here?
You guys hear me?
I'm trying to get Chris on here. So anything you guys want to talk about? Listen, I've been buying and selling real estate for 41 years. I've made at least a couple million here just in the last, 7 months.
Yeah.
Just on the purchases that I've made.
Yeah.
I just sold a house. I got 2 houses sold this month, and one of them I bought just a couple months ago. You can make money in a recession, and it's not selling T-shirts, as I understand to be one of Chris Crone's hustles, selling T-shirts, blue T-shirts, long sleeve T-shirts, laying sod and this other BS.
No, you teach people how to buy and sell real estate.
Yeah, listen, yeah. All right, Chris Crone sells. He's actually trying to sell on franchises and everything else now. It's really unbelievable, Listen, the bottom line is, it takes expertise, and it's like anything. You learn how to swim, or anything else. You're going to have to do a little bit of studying. Chris, I don't see your camera in here.
No, it's all good. I got about 10 minutes, and I gotta check.
Is it even pointing to you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess Chris is going to be out of the picture later.
See something.
You see something? I'm showing, not you. Gonna do one more try here. No, you're not. It's not registering anyway. Sorry about that.
No sweat.
I hate it when that happens. Anyways,
I can hear you.
There's Chris is out, and all right. Let's just go back to this. All right. Anyways, if you don't have a copy of my book, get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It'll be the best money you've ever spent. So I'm going to tell you something. I did a seminar last night, or a webinar, and it was a fairly small group, and what people told me was they'd really never seen a seminar quite like the one we held. And guess what? It was totally winged because...
I was like, well, you don't usually see them like that.
Yeah, and because there's no hype, there's no bullshit. It's very much how I talk to you right now. It's like, let's just get to the point. What do you got? Where do you live? What's your goals? In fact, we can have a little webinar right now. Anybody watching right now, listen, is there any apprehension? Is there any reason that you don't get mentored at something that maybe you don't already know how to do? I mean, most of you, whether you're some sort of in IT or a nurse or whatever, you had to go to school to learn what you learn.
My dad's a plumber, and you go through an apprenticeship. You get a journeyman's card. You work your way
when you get
up.
there, right? When you get there,
yeah. But you learn from somebody that's done it,
right? So, anyways, we can look at anything you guys want if you guys want to. You were actually watching some of Ben Mala's deal last night. It was primarily his son walking around one of their buildings. But
I got some fodder for conversation if you want, Tom.
Sure.
So I came across an article. This is Goldman Sachs, and they say that there's 4 cities likely to see a 2008 style housing crash. Okay, so tell me what this means for the investor, right? But there's 4 cities. They said the overheated markets mentioned in the note were San Jose, California, Phoenix, Arizona, San Diego, and Austin, Texas. Goldman now believes that interest rates will remain higher longer than expected. Notified clients that the bank is raising its forecast for the 30-year fixed mortgage rate to 6.5 for the year end of 2023.
So that means the Fed rate is going to go up quite a bit more is the bottom line. And they listen, that's their business to know. I think it's going to go up. I think the Fed rate's going to go up over 5% for sure. And there's just no reason for it not to. When I started in real estate, it was, I was paying 10% interest. And to be honest, happily, I had no problem with it. The other thing, the first bank loan that I got was 9.25%, and that was probably the 7th property that I bought. And if you just got here, if anybody wants to call in, you can call in. The number is you have to write this down though. What is our phone number?
I'll put it in the chat, Tom.
Yeah, actually, it's 424. You can put it in there, 424-866-7929. 424-866-7929. So if you're, 30, 40, 50 years old, 60 years old, it doesn't matter. If you got a question about real estate, where to put some money, listen, I'm open book. I got nothing to hide. In fact,
somebody said there's a background music that's running, and it's very distracting.
What?
We can't hear
it. Background music?
Yeah.
How come I can't hear it?
A couple people, both Barry and Richard.
Jeez. What the hell is going on here? Turn that off. Start turning things off.
Hey, Jermone.
Okay, guys. Thanks for your understanding of why this is. I don't understand why we don't have the properties behind us, to be quite honest. Yeah, give it a second, I guess. There we go. That's an apartment building. I made, I think, 700,000, 500,000 on. Which I can just sit here all day and talk about. This is a building I made. I made $1.5 million on that building you just saw. So actually, this might be of interest to you guys. So look, see there's actually 2 apartment buildings there. That one you see right behind my head, though, that one there I made about $1.05 million on. I'm going to say $950. I always try to say less. There's actually 4 properties I own in this picture. And well, that's actually one of my properties too. That one there, that's a sweet deal there. That one brings me in about $300,000 a year, by the way. And this one here brings me in, I still own it, brings me in about $250,000 a year. And I just saw another one here that's going to come back here. Yeah, that one there is an interesting one too. That one, Yeah, that one there is a beauty. That one was actually, it still is actually a school, but that one there I was bringing in. I won't say what it brings in, but anyways, I paid $750 cash for that. That's actually a pretty building. I paid $1.05 million for that building. See, there's so many properties here, and this is just a fraction of what I got. There's a strip center that you see there.
People say the music's getting louder. I don't think so. It's not on their side.
Oh, all right. You know, somebody's calling in. We got to call in. Let's try this call. Hello, you there?
Hello?
Yeah. All right.
Hi, this is David. I'm in mentorship.
Oh, David, you're in the mentorship?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and I had a question for you.
Okay, what, are you going to be in class tomorrow or not?
Yeah, but I just didn't want to wait, I guess.
Okay.
I saw you were on, so.
David, are you David
I had
lives nearby?
Yeah.
Okay. Just trying to know who to talk to. Go ahead, David.
Yeah. So I had a question, like, I think when I first talked to you, I was interested in maybe doing an FHA loan. And I think maybe, like, when the time is right maybe at the bottom of the market, whenever that happens, if the crash happens, I was thinking maybe I could do an FHA loan and do one of those and also try to get something else because it's such a low down payment.
Yeah,
and try to just stack a couple places.
Yeah, so an FHA loan, I mean, I think they'll let you in as low as, 3.5% or some crazy thing. Is that correct?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't even know if it counts anymore, but back in the day, I could, and probably the 7th or 8th property I ever bought when I was young I assumed an FHA loan. All FHA loans back then were assumable. You could just take it over. No alienation clause. So, yeah. So, and what kind of interest rate though? You're still getting stuck with the interest. The interest has still gone up quite a bit.
Yeah. I don't know. Like in a perfect scenario, if I wanted to try to get multiple places at the same time, I thought maybe I could do that with an FHA. I don't have a lot of savings, but it'll give me a little bit of space with such a small down payment.
Sure.
If I wanted to buy like 2 places.
Did you get pre-qualified yet?
No, I haven't. I think I would be qualified for it.
Yeah, but listen, I'm just telling you right now, and everybody watching, listen, go find out what you're worth to the bank. It's so important. You got to go get pre-qualified. I mean, you got to get pre-qualified. Otherwise, nobody's going to take you seriously. So, David, for sure, you should just go to a lender, give them your W-2s for the last couple of years, and say, they're going to figure out what they'll loan you. Because the first thing that's going to happen, and this is something that everybody, in fact, I mentioned this actually in the webinar last night. So a lot of people feel a disadvantage when you don't have cash. And certainly it's true. It's an advantage to have cash. And I blow people out of the water because I can pay cash. I do that. It's part of my strategy. I'll pay in 3 days. Okay, it's a strong argument for giving me the deal. Anyways, good night, Chris. Thanks again. But listen, don't let that discourage you because for one thing right now, David, you can go get a loan, say with 3.5%. But right now, number one, you need to go get pre-qualified because you need to have a piece of paper that says you're pre-qualified. Okay? Listen, I do it for millions of dollars. When I sit down with somebody and I say, look, those guys aren't going to go through. Forget them. I'm your best bet. I'm going to close. They'll say, oh, they're a big group. I'll say, well, that's another reason not to take them seriously. Because believe me, I beat groups out. All the time because I'm not a group. I'm a group of one. I said, guess what? All the board members right now are standing in front of you. It's me, and I'll take it. Okay, that's the kind of confidence, and that's the kind of thing that you got to produce when you go to buy. But the other guy, if I feel needed, I'll just call up my bank. I'll say, here, I'm going to let you talk to one of my bankers, and I'll say, hey, Kara, or hey, David, or who, I've got a handful of bankers that have known me for many years. By the way, somebody said there was music playing while we're talking. Is there still music in the background? I don't know what the hell's going on.
I can try. I don't hear it on the phone call.
No, not
but
you.
on YouTube.
Okay, not you, but somebody on YouTube will tell us. Don't worry about it. But my point is, listen, anybody watching, you want to make money, you need to establish that you're good for the, it doesn't matter if you have a money, they need to know that you qualify for the loan. So in your case, David, 100%, go get pre-qualified right away and find out, because the bank is going to say, as long as the property qualifies, we'll give you X. Maybe it's $300,000 or $400,000. With 3.5% down, that would be pretty cool to get in the door with $13,000 and buy a $400,000 property, which is possible to do. I just sold 2 properties, one for $403,000, one for $369,000. And by the way, I've owned both of these properties less than a year. One I just bought a few months ago. So people, I saw Robert Kiyosaki or Graham Stephan, somebody saying, don't buy. Well, that's the stupidest advice anybody could give you. Don't buy a bad deal, okay? Obviously, but that's what people that don't know how to buy right. Those are that's kind of advice often comes out of them because they don't know how to buy right. They're retail buyers, and I'm not a retail buyer. You're not going to be a retail buyer, but. Back to your question, get pre-qualified, because even if let me just tell you, not everybody cares about Mr. Big Bucks coming in and buying and being able to pay cash. And of course, I do that, and I come in and I take it away if I can from, whoever I'm competing against. But sometimes if you do it right, if you can establish and talk to the broker that represents the buyer, if you can, try to talk to the seller, the broker that represents the seller. The broker that represents the seller is the closest you can get in the beginning. That's the closest you can get to the seller, assuming that the property is listed, and that's how you're getting a hold of this person. But once you get a hold of them, if you can meet the person, you can say, yeah, this is my first home. Yeah, I've got it low and I'm excited. You know what I mean? I'm saying people are like, well, you know what? I'm not in any hurry. I like that young man. I want to sell it to him. And they'll say, well, Tom here, he's got cash. He'll give you cash. He'll pay by it right now this week. And well, you know what? No, I'm not in a big hurry. I'm going to sell it to the young man. Okay. Believe me, that happens. You can make that happen. Just present yourself properly and just be honest, and you'll, believe me, I've sold people property that I didn't care. I could sell it to anybody I want. I'm selling it to this person because I like them. And it's not always about money. That's just God's honest truth. And, but, in me, it's a business. Everything I buy under market. I don't want to mess with anything else. And I've had great success with the people that have been in my mentorship. In fact, there's a video that just played just a little while ago. In fact, if you're in the mentorship, obviously there we go. Mm-hmm. So I'm getting calls at the same time. But yeah, no. Number one, David, and anybody out there, get pre-qualified, because nobody will take you seriously. You might as well say, yeah, I have the money, but I can't prove it. You know what I mean? Where if you have a piece of paper that says the bank's going to give you the money, it doesn't matter. It's cash to them. It's cash to them if you're pre-qualified. So,
I had another question about the FHA. So isn't it? I just thought it would be a perfect scenario. I'm not sure if it'll work out, but I want to get multiple places at once to stretch my money a little bit. But I thought that one stipulation of FHA, that loan, you can't use it unless you've never bought a house before. Isn't that correct?
They do. Listen, I don't profess to be a professional on FHA loans, and thank God, because. But I do know a little bit.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, my understanding is, yes, FHA is really kind of really to get your first purchase under your belt. I remember one time I had about 9 bank loans. I had 9 properties that I bought, and I think some of them may have been FHA. I can't even remember, to be honest. But I remember they were saying, you have too many. We can't give you any more. You have too many loans. It's a long time ago. But so I know there was some limitation, but for FHA loans, maybe somebody watching knows more than I do on that particular subject. But my understanding is you get as low as 3.5%. I know veterans can get their first deal. They get super duper deal, and so yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. Yeah, I don't think you're going to go get 2 loans from the FHA at 3.5%. But they will do it for a first-time home buyer, and that's my understanding. It's very, very low, and right along those lines are not too far off.
Yeah, so this would be kind of a perfect storm, I guess. I know it probably takes a little bit longer doing an FHA compared to what you do in your book, which is, the best stuff.
The stuff we do, sure. So, look, anybody, anyways, is there anything else, David? Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted.
No, that's it. No, just thanks for the info. Anyone listening, the mentorship is awesome. There's a lot of really interesting insights to be learned, like a lot of stuff that like Tom knows that I don't think I would ever know without knowing Tom. So just want to say thanks for the info and everything, and have a good night.
You know what? And tell me this, since you're here and you're talking about that, what about the other students in the class?
What do you mean?
In other words, this is something I want to, actually, I'm glad you mentioned this. So look, if you want to call in, there's the number on the screen. But this is really something that's really interesting. So look, as a parent, and you guys that are parents, you should know what I'm talking about. You pick a school, not just by the teacher.
Don't just dream about it. Do it. Take either of the options where you will have access to all the materials and me as your mentor for months and maybe even years.
You probably don't want your kid in that school, right? If they just look like the wrong group. And that's really how you ought to be about your real estate class, or how you're about if you're going to be in a mentorship like mine. Listen, I tell more people no than I tell yes.
I'll tell you something. I've done a lot of different things in my life, and I'm somewhat successful in what I'm doing. But I find that being in rare places is a filter, and like any place is kind of tricky to get to, or it takes a little bit of insight to be there. Usually the best people are there, and I think that the people that kind of understand the value of what you're giving, it just is a filter for like really smart, nice people. Yeah, everybody's like, every time I'm in a meeting, I'm just like, wow, like stuff people say, like there's like big league people in there, and right now I'm trying to network, and it's so hard to meet people, and I just feel really grateful like how many insightful, smart people are in the group, and nice and helpful and everything. So it's been an awesome experience.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that, and I feel the same way. I tell people all the time we got the best and brightest students. That's also the reason we have so many really new millionaires. By the way, if you're just watching for I should take that back. So I've got pictures rolling in the back. These are all properties that I bought that you'll see flashing behind me. But for a second here, let me see if I can take you to the mentorship here, and or not the mentorship. Well, maybe the mentorship. Well, David, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. And if anybody else wants to call in, the number's on the screen. All right, buddy. See you in the morning.
Have a great night.
All right, man. Thank you. Yep. Let me see if I can show you this. Let me take this out for a second. Of course, that's not working here. Well, I'll just roll with this. Look, it's Friday. Anyways, so anybody wants to, we got another call coming in here. Yeah, I think that might be. Gosh. So now I got Chris calling me at the same time. Hang on, everybody. Sorry. Hey, Chris, it's tough to talk to you because you're on the air. What's up?
Close the looping slideshow on OBS. That might stop the music in the background.
Oh, you had music on that loop?
I don't know, but that's where it's coming from, a loop, either in iMovie or OBS.
Okay. All right. It's pretty loud, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Well, no, hang on. Since you're... we can test that right now. Okay, sorry for this, folks, but let's see if you can... Do you hear the music now?
I can't. It won't allow me to listen.
Okay.
Talk to your phone yet.
All right. Is anybody hearing the music right now as I speak at this moment? Somebody, please... Shit, I got too many things going on here at the same time. Anybody in the chat, can you tell me if you hear music right now? It's funky music. Okay, the music's off right now. Thanks a lot. Okay, apparently it is the loop. It is the loop. So
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay,
yeah.
Awesome. We figured it out. It was
right.
It was the properties.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, bye.
Yeah. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right, thank you. Bye. Okay, we solved that. I appreciate that. So I will not run the loop at the properties behind me anymore, and you won't hear that music. Anyways, so I see the chat's open here. I appreciate it. We got a lot of people here. We've got Richard Lloyd, Shannon. Actually, Shannon's joining the class, or he joined today, or he's going to join. Shannon was in the webinar last night, and a good guy. Looking forward to seeing you in the class tomorrow, by the way. Shannon, by the way, when you get in the webinar, when you get in the class, be sure to go to the meetings page, and you'll have the link that'll get you into the private Zoom with the rest of the people and the folks. And let's see. So Richard Lloyd is here. Richard, you're in Australia, correct? Anyways, hey Liam, appreciate you're in here. Great. Carlos Perez, I think you were in the mentorship last night. Barry was looking for you. Anyways, the masses need glasses. Carlos is quoting me from "The masses are the asses." Yeah, I just got to tell you, Liam actually, who's watching the class right now, he's in the class, by the way. Liam's in New York. People say, oh, you can't make any money in New York City. Real estate's too expensive, which if you want to call in, look at the phone number on the screen there. That's how you call in, by the way. For those of you that have my cell phone, don't call that number. Call this one right here. It'll go to the same thing. But, Liam made $560,000. And, I think that's inside a year or maybe 18 months. Oh, okay, Richard, I'm confusing with a guy in Australia. There's a guy that I think, I don't know why. But yeah, Richard, you should have been in the webinar last night. You would have enjoyed it. I'll tell you, I watched a piece. I watched another piece of a Chris Crone webinar, and I mean, oh my gosh, I'm telling you. And I don't know if you saw the video yesterday, but the kid yesterday said that one of Chris Crone's hustles is sell T-shirts. So everybody, grab your pen, or whoever's running this class, grab your pencil. Okay, write this down. Sell T-shirts. And then now the next hack or hustle, sell blue T-shirts. Next hack, long sleeve T-shirts. Now, can you imagine paying for that? I mean, that's the hustle. Oh my God. Yeah. Unbelievable. Oh yeah. Oh, Carlos. So Carlos was in the webinar last night, and he wrote here, he said it was a blast. Good atmosphere. Hey, Carlos, why don't you call in and tell people just a little bit about your experience in the webinar. Phone number's right here. I'd appreciate it. Or even you, Shannon. Shannon, yeah, you too. Either one of you guys call in. It'd be good for the people that are watching. I've already lost so many people because of music, it looks like. But here's the thing. I say I don't care about the money. I don't do anything for free. In fact, I can tell you right now, the time I've spent on this mentorship, even though I've made several $1 million this last year, I'm just telling you, I'm losing money doing this, but I don't care. This is the good thing. When you get older, you can do whatever the hell you want. I mean, that's not when you get older, but when you have money, you can do whatever you want. I can pick what I want to do. You know what I mean? And believe me, if something starts to feel too much like work, I don't do it anymore. That's why, I used to answer everybody's questions. Then when my book came out, I started getting hundreds of questions a week, and I would say 30% of them were the same question, and so I got tired of copying and pasting. I said, F this, I'm done with it. And so I said, I'm going to do a mentorship, and and you can, okay, we got, I don't know, somebody from Silver Springs keeps calling. Listen, you can't call my text. If you're trying to get in here for the text, I don't think it's going to work, but yeah, I'm not even going to take it. anyways, if you want to call in for the show, there's the phone number there, and we talk about anything you want. But what did I do? Okay, lost the chat now. So let's see. What do I think of Pace Morby? I don't know anything about Pace Morby. I have seen his thumbnails. I have not listened to him. Actually, I did see like a commercial, and if there was anything to give me concern, and I don't want to misquote, but I think he was. It looked like he was pushing for a fund, like a group. I don't know, But here's the bottom line. I'll get the annoying music cleaned up. I'm not going to put you through it again right now, but I have a loop now that I'm going to start running. That's of just properties that I own and properties that I've purchased and sold and made millions of dollars on. And I think that's important. And really, this is the stuff that you should demand. In fact, really, Shannon or Carlos or anybody that was in the show last night or the webinar last night, please call in. We actually had somebody in there, too, that actually, and I think actually we had somebody in there was talking about Pace Morby last night. And not in particularly, I'm not going to say them for sure on that. But, we'll take a look at Pace Morby. But I don't know, Faze, what do you think of Pace Morby? What does he offer? Does he demonstrate that he's made money? I really get bothered when people say, me and my team, or my team and I, about thousands of property. What does that mean? What the hell does that mean? In fact, I got to show you something. This is really funny. I was saving this, but let me see if I can bring up the whiteboard. I think you guys will really get a kick of this. Look, I'm a numbers guy. I always look at the numbers. Let me see if I got my whiteboard. It's not coming up. But I was doing the math. It's really interesting. So I got a Chris Crone email, and he said, I bought 6,500 houses. 6,500 houses. Or me and my whatever. The people that invest with him. Here's the deal. You just do the math. I guarantee you, if you do the math, you won't give Chris Crone the time of day. If you do the math, you won't give Grant Cardone the time of day. You need a relevant mentor, somebody that knows what they're doing, that buys the kinds of properties that are relevant to you, meaning the kind of properties that you can afford. Now, Chris Crone buys the kind of properties you can afford, but the problem is he's your partner. You put up the money, and he's your partner on a deal that you don't even need him for. It's ridiculous. And really, just the numbers itself, how do you buy 6,500 really good deals? Really good deals, okay? The way it's a good deal is you use somebody else's money for the down payment, and you just simply be their partner. It's a very easy way to make money. In fact, if you get multiple partners on a single property, which somebody told me that was floating around. I don't know if that's what Chris Crone does or not. But imagine you go buy properties now because you're in a recession. You say, oh, you're going to put you in a group, and you're going to be part of a bigger group and buy a lot of great deals together. Well, that's kind of doing a semi-fund, right? But if you just say you have 5 people buy 2 houses. Now you can take those houses and you can put basically with their money, you can put 50% down. And so now the property's going to pencil for you, okay, because you got no sweat in the game. You just manage the property, which you can take a fee for. And then the other thing is you just wait 10 years till the mortgage is paid down. Then when you sell it, you do fine. But the things you got to realize, when somebody says, yeah, take the equity out of your home, they act like it's in a drawer in the kitchen. It's not. You have to go to a bank, and you have to borrow that equity, and now you got to pay interest on that money. And if you're paying 5% interest on $50,000 that you borrowed to go buy something with somebody else, now you're paying $2,500 a year interest on that $50,000. And that investment is only paying you 5% a year, so you're not making anything. You're not making anything, okay? Because if you follow me, you just start doing the math. But one of the things I realized, in fact, I'm just going to save this for a better broadcast. But so look, somebody call in if you wanna have a call. We'll talk about this. But Faze or anybody out there, go ahead and call in. The number is right here. It's 424. Oh, maybe you guys can't even see it because of the live. Let me move this over a little bit. I didn't realize that I had made such a problem here. It's 424-866-7929. In fact, Chris Crone, if you're out there, why don't you call in? I got some great questions for you. Or Grant Cardone, too, either one of you. Call in. I got some really good number questions for you. Okay, somebody's calling in. Hello, who's there?
Hey, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Shannon. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. I didn't get your name, though. What's your name?
Shannon.
Oh, hey, Shannon. Okay, I got you. So, Shannon, this is Shannon that was in the webinar last night, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Great. So,
you ever had any experience with this aluminum sandwich board, 4x, I guess, plywood sandwich, aluminum sandwich? I got 78 feet for this stuff, and I've never hung it before. It's construction material.
oh, okay, this is a construction question. I'm sorry. It sounds like you're handling a piece of metal right now. Yeah, Shannon, are you talking about anyways, are you talking about the they have like, it's like a foil-backed plywood?
No, this is a sandwich board. It's aluminum. It's all aluminum on the inside and outside. I've never seen it before. I didn't make it commercial.
Yeah. Hey, Shannon, unfortunately, I can barely hear you. It's really, really distorted heavy. So I think we might have to kill this call, but unless you got a way to make it better. But
yeah, of course.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's a lot better. That's a hell of a lot better. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not exactly familiar with the material that you're referring to, but if you would, yeah, if you would, why don't you share?
There you are.
Yeah. When you said you're signing up today. Is that correct, or have you already?
Yes, sir. I signed up. I've got. I don't know if it went through yet, but it probably did, I guess.
Yeah, it should have.
I'm not used to using that account, so they're kind of funny. They're kind of slow. Fidelity, they're pretty slow.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Well, I'm glad to have you. We'll have a meeting tomorrow. You're welcome to come in too. So Shannon, what? I mean, for those watching, because for people that didn't go to the deal, what made you decide to jump in?
Oh, I've been putting it off way too long. I've been listening to you for quite a while, and my biggest problem is I don't know what to do with the deal. I just don't know how to the art of the deal. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to push one through.
Right, right. But I guess you gathered that you're going to get that support from me, right?
Yes, sir. I certainly need to learn how to approach people with. I don't know the terminology. It's not. I'm not used to it.
It doesn't matter.
Things like that. I think
the terminology. I get lost in some of the new terminology. It's so silly. When people say a hack and a hack, I don't know if people understand, but a hack is not a complimentary word. So.
Well, just a little bit. I want people to know that I know what I'm talking about, and I don't. I know what I want, but I don't know what I'm talking about. Not when it comes to the paperwork and the red we have to do and things like that.
And believe me, that's the least.
I just don't know the process.
Yeah, that's the least you need to worry about. By the way, and I'm talking about everybody that's out there. Listen, when you buy a piece of property, people like to listen. Nothing is magic, right? I mean, people like to say, "Oh, that's a hack. I got a tip and or a trick." I don't like the word trick either. And a tip is okay, but a trick is dirty. And that trick doesn't sound good at all. But the bottom line is, I just teach you some basic fundamentals, the fundamentals that I use to buy, and you're gonna get an earful for them. I mean, you're gonna be studying. You're gonna learn so much so quick, and believe me, the proof is in. I just added two new videos to my website at FlipAnythingUSA.com. Watch those videos. You got one guy that's made 100,000. The other guy has made about $1.3 million, and I have another guy that actually popped into the webinar last night just for a second, and it looks like he's made $1.4 million. He just bought a building for $350,000.
Yeah, you've been coming along with some real successful. Yeah, you got a whole crew of successful people now, coming along real good.
Yeah, and that's
amazing. That you're stacking up numbers. I think you've got like a dozen now, don't you? People that are how many millionaires you got?
I don't even know at the moment. I couldn't tell you. I'll try to count right now, but I'm sure between whoever I've got, there's at least $10 million there, and between all the students together, we're probably pushing 20, 30 million. I'm not even sure, and I'm just telling you, that's the kind of results you can get with a good mentor, and I can tell you,
You'll have a whole block. You'll have a whole block of investors that are all like-minded and move mountains. That's neat.
No,
you bet.
I
got to get my feet wet. That's for sure. I don't know if that's what you're planning on how you fit that together and everything, but that guy I was talking about earlier, that networking. Boy, I tell you, I'm not real good with networking at all. I kind of stay away from people as much as I can. And so,
you don't have to listen. You don't have to be a people.
I'm not really. I'm kind of a hermit. I like being a hermit. I really don't like messing with people. So that's been one of the problems. Probably is being.
I'm not, let me put it this way. I'm not a customer service guy at all. I like smart people. I'm just telling you, I like people in general, but I owned a restaurant, and not that I wanted to own, I bought the property and I ended up having to open the restaurant to preserve the ability. So look, I bought a property, I bought a restaurant. I didn't buy it because I want to be in the restaurant business. That was the last thing I want to do. But I bought it because it had a bar. It was a fantastic location. It was a prime piece of property. Really, really great deal. So anyhow, I bought that thing for $720,000. I got 2.5% interest rate, and I only put $50,000 down. So now the next person could buy it from me and assume my loan. Actually, I put less than. I think I put $30,000 down. Somebody could assume my $700,000 loan, and their payment was only $2,100 a month. So that's an amazing deal. You just can't get money that cheap.
I didn't know you were in the restaurant business.
I'm not.
That's a tough business right there now. You're not on purpose, I guess.
Listen, I'm not in the restaurant business. I am not in the restaurant business. All I ever want to own is the four walls. I don't want to be in any business. I only want to own the walls that a successful business resides in. And what I did is I bought that business. I bought the building. I buy the business. But and this is a tip for everybody watching. Listen, when you have like liquor sales established or anything that you're doing in a particular property that maybe it took a variance to do, a lot of people don't realize they have existing non-conforming. That's a key word. That's also people call there's the grandfather clause, the grandfather clause. Well, there is no grandfather clause, but what the term you would say is it's grandfathered. It's grandfathered, meaning it was here before you. It was here before your stupid frickin' rules. So anyways, I had a bar that was grandfathered. I mean, as much as it was passed, it was allowed, it was done. Now, the things that can threaten a bar from going in, if you go to ask and try to get permission, is there a school 1,000 feet away? Well, guess what? There was actually a school about 1,020 feet away. Fortunately, I owned it. So, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter because the bar that I bought, I bought the building. My whole deal was add some parking, fix it up, sell it, and that's what I did. I paid $720. I think I paid for it. I sold it for $930,000, and I the reason I had rented the parking lot. For 18 months, I rented just the parking lot. While I rehabbed the building, I rented the parking lot out for $5,500 a month. So it penciled. Like I said, my payment was only $2,100 a month. I'm making $5,500 in rent on this thing, and that's just for the parking lot. Meanwhile, I'm fixing up the building. Well, 18 months goes by, and then pretty soon it's like 20 months, and it's like, okay, I got to get this thing sold. The 2009 crash happened, right? The crash of 2009, if you want to call that a crash. But listen, money tightened up, and people in the restaurant business, their name is already pretty much mud. It really is. I mean, it's tough being self-employed and new. The restaurant business does not get a lot of respect from the bank. It's a tough business. It's a very tough business. And, and that's kind of how I found out I'm really not a people person, because you get somebody going, oh, I had to work a double shift. And it's like, oh, poor baby. That means you had to work 2 4-hour shifts, which make a regular day for anybody else. You're fired. Get the hell out of here. In other words, I'm not a very sympathetic. I'm not a particularly easy boss. I don't do this hand holding and coddling and
you come across real good towards people. You're real. You're you can see, what you see is what you get with you. That's the deal. What people, they don't have to think about what's going on in the background. What comes out of your mouth is just if you're honest like that, and it comes across naturally. And I can be people. I'm a people person. I could be great in customer service. You could do that for sure.
No, not me.
And I think I tell my mom you can sell boots to a rattlesnake. My mama can. I know that.
Yeah.
And she can sell boots to a rattlesnake for sure. But that's because she's just a genuine kind of person. And people are likable, and people know that they can trust you.
No,
they don't have to second guess all that. So that goes a long way. I'm sure.
Well, I appreciate that, and that's true, and I am trustworthy. But I can tell you, a lot of people appear to be trustworthy are not trustworthy. That's just the bottom line. There's a lot of snakes.
Yeah,
out there.
but you can smell them out. You can smell them out. You can smell them out pretty good if you really.
Not everybody does. Listen, people get taken advantage every day.
Yeah.
And
right.
So not everybody smells it. Not everybody, and that's why this.
Yeah, it depends on if you have experience with it or not. Yes, right. Yeah.
That's usually that's where you start to learn, right? You get burned. That's
right, the hard way, no doubt.
Yeah,
absolutely. I can't wait to get going here. I've been, I'm pretty old, man. I tell you, a guy told me last night. He said, asked me if I was a comedian, and I when you get as ugly and as old as me, man, you got to find things to enjoy in life, And I'm pretty old, and this. My last go around here, I figure I think I'm close to 70, man. I don't know.
Damn. Yeah, well, you sound young.
Wore out, so I can't.
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story.
I can't work my body. I got to work my mind. I got to work my mind. I can't work my body like I've done all these years. It's not going to happen anymore.
Yeah, and who is the guy that Cheney? The politician, the vice president.
Dick Cheney?
Yeah, he'd shot somebody by accident with a shotgun. The guy caught some shots.
Bush.
No, well, he didn't shoot Bush.
Sure did.
He didn't shoot Bush. There's another,
it was vice president at that time, wasn't it?
He was vice
Cheney
president.
Shot Bush, I believe.
He didn't shoot Bush. No. He actually he shot somebody on accident. But that guy was actually. He had something I was interested in. He's a lawyer. But I remember I got a hold of him. I called up, and he picked up. We talked, and it sounded like he was 25 years old. Turns out he was 75 years old. But you kind of got that quality going for you. You sound young. But anyways, so look, this is I want to say Wilker. I don't know. I'm not going to get it right for sure. But anyways, so Shannon here just joined the class, and he went through the webinar, and like I said, it's very conversational. Listen, the fake gurus, the fake people that try to fake you, the last thing they want to talk about is deals. The last thing they want to be asked is, can you show us how you've made money that way? Can you show us a deal that you've bought that you're saying that you profess to have the experience to do so? That's what they can't do. That's what they can't do. And I can do that. I can do it over and over and over again. That's why you're going to start seeing all my properties run behind me. Not all of them, but a bunch of them. I don't have pictures of everything I've ever purchased. But unfortunately, the addresses that I
can see more real stuff. You walking through homes and everything else. You it's like a dadgum investor tour, remodel, and you get everything because we just get to go right along with you. That's awesome. You know,
Yeah. No,
and wherever you go, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, like I said, but the point I was trying to make earlier is, listen, you go to a school, when you're putting your kids in school, you look at, you want to poke your head in and take a look at the students. And if the students look like hell, you ain't putting your kid in that school. Well, that's what this is the opportunity you get when you go to the webinar. When you go to the webinar, you're going to get a look at some of the students. You get to see the people that you're going to be in class with, okay? And believe me, I've seen the questions that I've heard come from people that come out of other mentors. I mean, I guarantee you they don't know shit, and it's because they're being taught by somebody that doesn't know shit. You can't pull experience out of your ass. You can tell. Yeah, I don't care if you're 30. I mean, but listen, you can have some experience, but you're not going to have a lot of experience. It's just impossible. And especially, look, Ryan Pineda, I know he seems like a nice, good guy and all that stuff, but that guy having a fund is a joke. That guy doesn't have the experience. He's never bought big properties like that. He doesn't have the experience. You just can't. You don't just pull. You're not just.
Well, we talked about all those people in the '80s, all these real estate guys, and these seminars. They were just going like crazy. Everybody had a seminar, and there were so many different people having seminars, and I sat in on a whole bunch of those in the '80s. And so when I saw you online the first time, I knew immediately, because I've had experience with those guys. They get in the book and they go through the formulas and all this stuff, but they don't talk about anything practical at all because they hadn't done shit. And I've been to so many, and you go to seminars and get in a room full of people, just like on your webinar. You got like-minded people. It keeps your head in the game. It's really, really, especially you get around a bunch of smart people that make you smarter. And I used to go to those seminars all the time just to keep my head in the game. And man, those guys, their book, there's all the difference in the world, man. It's like night and day compared to what they were selling and what you amassed for us. It's all the difference in the world.
Thanks.
That's why I knew immediately that I liked them. You were for real. Because I've had experience with all those guys a long time ago.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and believe me, I went to some of those real estate seminars way back then too, and a lot of, like you said, a lot of times, we got this creative financing, this is creative, and that's what so much of this bullshit is. It's like someone say, oh, don't buy a property in don't buy a property in an S corp, and don't and get an LLC. Well, you should never buy. There's no reason to buy a property in an S corp, period, unless you want to get taxed heavy on it, anyways. But the other thing is an LLC. People buying an LLC, creating an LLC before they own a piece of property to put in is a joke. And so it's like these guys sell the idea. Look, you're going to be rich, so you need to have the LLC. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It costs money to set up an LLC, and insurance will cover the difference. The problem. If you have a problem, as long as you have insurance, you don't need an LLC. In the beginning, when you own a bunch of property, look, I have 15, not LLC. I have some LLCs, but I have limited partnerships, which is basically me, myself, and I, or me, my wife, and kids, that sort of thing. You don't need an LLC, and I feel bad when somebody says, "I already got my LLC," and it's like, that's like getting getting an LLC before you need it is kind of like getting a.
That's like, yeah.
Well, it's like getting a safe deposit box.
Advice, Tom.
No, but it's like getting a safe deposit box for all the cash that you don't have, but you're going to put in there someday.
That's people. Yeah, jumping to the conclusions and everything. That's good advice, because everybody's so scared of the tax man for one thing, and all this stuff, and ruled by fear of authority. But here we have this situation. People want to make sure they do everything right before they even get there, and you got to fake it till you make it. A young guy told me that a long time ago on a job. He said, "You fake it till you make it." And all that stuff.
Some people are faking it to make it.
You just don't worry about all that stuff until you start making some money. You start making some money, and then you can. The guy asks you. It's just like, if you don't know something, you tell him. I'll get back with you.
Yeah, no, I get it. I believe
it.
It's comical. Yeah, it's comical. It really is. Hey, I'm going to let you go here, Shannon, to get on to another subject here. But I appreciate you calling in, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. I appreciate you signing up, and we'll see you in the class.
Oh, I'm glad to be on the team. Thank you, Tom.
All right, man.
You bet.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Okay. You bet. Bye-bye.
All right. So, anyways, also, who else in here? Anyways, again, like I say, I just shake my head when I see the different things that I've seen. There's people, it's just very clownish. Anyways, Liam just asked, how long was the term on that own or carry loan? Are you talking about the restaurant deal? I think I got 10 or 15 years on that. In fact, when I sold it, that's what made it so beautiful, is that I sold it, and one of the reasons I made as much money on it as I did is because I had the financing in place. There was no qualifying. The next people could walk in and just take it over. And you learn about a lot of stuff like that in the mentorship. Hey, Carlos. So what else? Barry says he's going to have his team agrees with me. That's fantastic. Glad to hear that. Anyways, like I said, this whole business of team, and you know what? If I had more confidence on these controls in front of me right now, I would change it. But hey, while you're here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Obviously, this is not the slickest podcast, but I guarantee it's the most profitable and the most original. How's that? What else? Okay, Bad Chev wrote here, finding the deal is the real magic, especially in this economy. Everyone is holding on to the high sale price. Wonder when things are going to start dropping. Yeah, listen, Bad Chev, everybody reacts differently, okay? And there's opportunities. Listen, there's going to be a bunch of opportunities as stuff... When the reality hits, listen, jobs are evaporating. They are evaporating. Nobody wants to talk about it. That are damaged by it. Politicians don't like to talk about it. In fact, our president actually announced how great things were, I think, yesterday, and how proud he is of all the jobs. I mean, he's obviously, I don't know what planet he's on, but it's not this one. Somebody wrote here, before you get started, you have to get an LLC. Who says that, Walter? That's the dumbest thing. I mean, like I say, that's when somebody gives you that advice, just run. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, it's obvious they don't know what they're doing. They might create an LLC for their company so that when they get sued, they don't get sued personally. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Pace Morby, okay. Well, I'm already starting to think Pace stinks, to be honest, and I don't know, not firsthand. But if what you're telling me is true, before you get started, you have to get an LLC. That is pure bullshit. Okay, take it from somebody that's was made with maybe before I even got an LLC, I'd already made several $1 million, and there is a time to get them, and I should have got mine a little earlier than that. But just so you understand. Whether it's a limited liability company or you can call it a family limited partnership. There's a guy I went to, Minton. Minton is what they call the grandfather of lawsuit protection or something like that. And believe me, that's one of the key components of having an LLC and or having a limited partnership. Or basically, I mean, those entities are designed, they have all the rights of a person owning owning real estate. So I'm going to call it a side benefit. One of the reasons I have so many LLCs and limited partnerships is because I make my wife and my kids my partners. I've done it for years. I'd pull up to a property and say, I got to run in here real quick. Why are you going in there? I go, we own this. She goes, oh, we do? I go, yeah, we own this. She didn't even know because I didn't even concern. And all the years that I bought, I never concerned my wife. I have my little daughter. My daughter's 27 now, and she just bought her first house. I would take her into every property I would buy. It was kind of a tradition, because that's a beauty. I've been a self-employed investor. It's the best life in the world, and I want it for you. Believe me, I want it for you. I took my kids to school for 9 years in a row when they're in elementary school. I'd take them to coffee with me. I'd rock my kid with my foot while I'm drinking coffee, looking at the paper, doing whatever I'm going to do, looking for deals. And I had so much time with my kids that most people never get. You know, it's been fantastic. And I probably could be a lot richer if I didn't do that. If I could have just been on the road. You know, I think even Ben Mala would tell you, he sacrificed some time with his kids to create the empire that he did. I didn't sacrifice the time with the kids, and I don't have as big of an empire as he does, but I still have pretty good. I'm doing well. But my point is, and to Ben's credit, I love watching Ben Mala, by the way, for one reason in particular. It's that he's got a family business. His kids are actually working for the company, the overall company, you know, and he's passing on the trades. I have 4 kids, and my kids aren't really particularly interested in real estate, you know, but that's, you know, who does what their father does? Most people do not. So, yeah, Liam, you say it takes 15 minutes to get an LLC in Jersey. It's not hard to get one, but you need one that's written correctly, by the way. There is some importance in how they're structured. Bad Chev wrote, your thoughts on foreclosures. Listen, I buy properties before they go to foreclosure. I get a hold of the person that is in foreclosure, and I bail them out and take it over. That's my experience with foreclosures. You know, and anyways, I'm not going to get into the LLC stuff too much, but I can tell you there's a tax return attached to every one of them, and then you got to file K-1s to all the partners, whether it's your kids or not. And by the way, don't think just, you know, if you're already, you know, sitting fat and making a lot of money, and, you know, it's smart to make kids your partners. This is one of the reasons I had to have limited partnerships, and this is the main reason I like to say I have them, is because children can't own real estate. They have to be 18 years and older. Well, my kids have owned property since they were born, you know, or shortly after being born. I can gift them. I can gift them parts of my property, a percentage. You can gift your kid, you know, you have a property, you have a kid, or you can gift your child a percentage of the property, up to, I think, $26,000 per kid now. And of that $26,000, and I can't remember if that's the exact amount or not, so don't quote me on the amount, but you can gift your kids thousands of dollars in value, which means a percentage of your property. And when you give them a piece of the property, you can actually give them, if you give them cash, there's a cap to it. Let's just say it's 20. I don't know what it is at the moment, but just say you can give you can gift people money. If you want to give somebody money, you can give them money, and they don't have to pay tax on a gift at a certain level. Beyond gets too much, then they start to it becomes income. But if it's just a gift, you can give cash away. You can give your kids cash. Well, I don't give my kids cash, but what I do is I've gifted my children percentages of my buildings. And as they've grown up, every year they're gifted more. And I still have 100% control. Nobody can take over Dad and kick me out of the way. And I have a building. In fact, I pulled up and I said, you know what? I was going to pull a line of credit on, and I got to go double check thing. And I look at it and I realize my kids own 64% of some of my assets. And but now, does that make me panic? Does that make me worry if I have a fight with my kids? No, because they don't have the control. I have 100% control. And now, can they all get together and vote me out? No, because within the limited partnership or the LLC, let's just say, for example, there has to be an 80% vote to get rid of me, to replace me. Well, that's fine, because I might own it. I'm always going to own at least 25% of that asset. So there's never going to be enough to vote me out. So I always have the control. And, so these are the things you can do to protect yourself, but you can still pass your wealth to your children and grow that wealth while they're in it. And so, by the way, if you just got here, hit that subscribe button. Sorry, things are kind of screwed up this morning or today, but there's a fortune to be made in real estate, and I mentor people. You can go to FlipAnythingUSA.com and check it out. In fact, go to the webinar. If you go to FlipAnythingUSA.com, and there's a link in below, should be, But look for the webinar. Go to FlipAnythingUSA.com, and up on the right, click on webinar, fill that form out, and you will be, I'm going to start doing a webinar every week. I'm going to do it every week. And I don't care if there's 5 people in there or if there's, 100. I don't care. I love hard questions, or what you might think is a hard question. That's fine, but I'm not necessarily going to, in the webinar, a lot of people think I'm there to give advice. No, I'm not there to give advice. I mean, I don't mind asking a question or two, but I'm not there to work on your personal issue. But what I will do is I will demonstrate to you and show you that I know a lot about what I'm doing and why it's relevant to you and how it can benefit you to make you rich, make you much wealthier than you are. And I can say that with confidence because I have a track record. And that's the other thing you got to realize. When people say, you're going to get, invest with us and you're going to get a fantastic return, you say, well, show me some people that don't work for you, okay, that have made money, that have it, show me your track record. Show me your track record, right? Listen, if you have a carpenter, if you're going to pay somebody to build your house, replace your windows, it's like, I need references. Too many people give these dumbass gurus money that they fucking don't know what they're doing. And they couldn't demonstrate to you that they know what they're doing. And so it doesn't make any sense for you to give money to somebody that can't establish to you that they know what they're doing. So, it's just terrible. All right, so what else is going on? Any other questions here? Liam, I think it got to you on that. So look, we got 21 people in here right now, not a ton of people, but look, what are your fears? What are your concerns? What's anybody worried about? Have I ever heard of a DSCR, debt service coverage ratio? I'm not sure what DSCR means. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the terminology is. If you can explain to what DSCR is, I might know. I don't know. I mean, I can tell you if you're going to buy a property, if you can't put more than 20% down, they're going to want you to get mortgage insurance. And that's just, it's just to ensure that you can make your payment on your loan and your insurance. And then you get dinged for it too. So ideally you always want to be able to put, that's the other thing, David, you asked earlier, you're going to have mortgage insurance if you put down less than 20. Hey, Rudy, how you doing, buddy? And Rudy's a new student, by the way. Rudy Portillo just joined. And looking forward to you being in there, Rudy. You're going to be an asset to the class for sure. And so, yeah, listen, don't sit on the fence. And Richard, I got to get you in here, Richard Lloyd, if you're still out there. Richard, you 100%. You're bright. You're smart. I've seen your channel. Richard Lloyd's got a channel. He basically, he can take a router or anything and tell you how to use it. Anyways, if you're in here, Richard, let me know. But we'll plug your channel. And I apologize earlier for the music driving everybody nuts. Look, what I've realized over time, really myself, number one, is people have preconceived notions of what it takes to be a successful a real estate investor. And I can tell you the number one quality is common sense. And, it's like even the gentleman that was on there earlier, he was saying, I know you can tell, I can read people, when something's not right. Well, not everybody can read people. He does, and I believe he does. He's a really bright guy. He was really interesting to listen to. And believe me, you don't get in the class unless you can establish that you have the capacity to learn. It's really important. I can't emphasize enough how many people don't have confidence. And believe me, I had a grandfather, terribly negative. I don't even how anybody could stand to be around him. I didn't like him, to be honest. And and he was a bitter dude. And when he was younger, one of his jobs was, he had a great job. He ran a ice packing plant along the railroad. I guess they used to pack these cars with ice to keep vegetables and whatever cold as it was passing, just like, the old old whistle stops where they'd stop and put water in a steam engine. Well, they used to have in more modern times, whether it was a diesel engine or not, they had ice packing plants to keep stuff cold as it was going across the country. Well, guess what tore them out and gutted that business? Refrigeration, and then no longer needed. And so, I remember I bought a duplex or triplex, I can't remember what I had, and he had bought a duplex or something a long time ago, and or maybe I bought a sixplex, I don't remember, but he said, oh no, you can't make any money on triplexes. That's such a stupid blanket statement. You can't make any money on triplexes. I said, well, I didn't buy a triplex, I got a sixplex. He goes, oh, well, sixplex, yeah, that makes sense, and it's just, it's just silly. You can make money on anything. There is no bad real estate, there's just bad deals. Don't make a bad deal. You can make a bad deal on anything. You can make a bad deal with anyone. Don't make a bad deal. And that's why I tell you, if somebody seems impatient and it doesn't seem like they have the discipline, I'm just telling them, nah, don't come in. And believe me, I tell people no all the time. If you don't have the money, you're not qualified. And when I say money, a lot of people look at you as, oh, can you put $2,000 on your credit card? You're in. I'm not interested in that. I'm not. If you have to use a credit card, the only way you can pay me is by credit card. But if that's all you got, if that's what you're talking about, if you don't have any savings or you don't have any, some substantial equity in something, your home or whatever, then listen, if you got to have a reason for being broke, to be even allowed in the class. I don't want you to go out on a limb just to get the money to take the course. I don't think that's the way to go. I think you need to figure out how to, get a skill. I told my kids forever, get a skill. You got to get a skill. Listen, I can do multiple things. I can sell if I want to be a salesman. I can be a salesman. I'm a carpenter. I can do just about anything construction wise. I've done just about everything. And, it doesn't mean I want to do it, but I have the ability to go make money. I know how to do it. And it's important to get skills. It just is. And if you don't have skills, a lot of people have the preconceived idea that you have to have skills to make money. People also have the preconceived notion that the only money to be made in real estate is stuff that needs to be worked on. And they go, well, I don't know how to do anything, so I can't buy a fixer-upper. Well, that's not a bad thought. You got to be careful for sure, but it's not impossible. You don't have to buy a fixer-upper. You don't have to buy a fixer-upper. 3/4 of what I buy, I don't have to fix up. At least 3/4 of what I buy, I don't have to fix up. You think I want to fix up a property? I don't. I don't want to fix up anything. Do I do it? Of course I do. But when I buy a fixer-upper, whatever I'm paying for that fixer-upper, it's worth more than I'm paying for it, even as a fixer-upper. Because people say, oh yeah, I got a property I'm buying for $150 and it's worth $200. Oh, so great. And they say, well, I got to put 30 in. I said, no, it's not worth $200. If you got to put 30 in it to make a $150,000 property worth $200, you're paying full price for it. You're paying too much for it, in my opinion. I would pay $100,000 for a property that needs $20,000 to become worth $200. The reason I say that is there's time loss in holding and whatever the improvements you have to do. But I have a high standard of making money. I have a high standard of profit. But what I would do, I might buy that fixer-upper for $100,000, and I'll sell it to somebody else for $150 and explain to them, hey, all you got to do is put in 20 and it'll be worth 200 and you'll make 30. That's fine. I don't want to do that. Listen, I started building homes. This is one of the reasons I got into land. I'd already made quite a bit of money buying and selling houses and buying, and I decided I'm going to build. I just said, I want to build. And so I'm a licensed builder in California originally. And I started building and I was buying lots. And then I started applying what I know, and I started buying up a lot of properties, buying more and more land. Well, what happened is I'd build a home, and I made a lot of money on a home. I'd make like $70,000. I'd make $70,000 on a home that sold for 180. So I could build a home, sell it for 180, and I'd make $70,000. And that was me being generous with one of my subs, giving him $10,000 to make a lot of the trips that I didn't want to make. So what I did was I was happy making the 70 grand, but it still took 6 months. It took me about 3 months. It only took me 3 months to build a house back then. Now, it takes you that much in time just to get approved for your plans. It's ridiculous how lazy and stupid these cities are. They're biting the hands of the people that actually make the money go around in the city. So anyways, but before it was as bad as it is now, I still was going, wow, I'm making 70 grand. That's a pretty nice amount to make in, 6 months. I built 2 or 3 houses at a time. It was good. But what happened was I started buying lots, and I would flip a lot and I'd make 20 grand. And then, I flipped maybe 10 lots and made, $200,000 or $300,000. And the same time that I built 2 houses and made 180. And I'm going, you know what? I think I'll just concentrate on buying and selling lots. I'll let somebody else build it. And so what I did is I just started selling all my lots to the builders, and I let them work hard for it. So O Singh just wrote a question here. He says, Tom, if I have $10,000 liquid cash to invest, should I look for creative finance deals with low down or save more money? Okay, well, that's a fair question. So look, if you have $10,000 cash, then certainly you're limited to being able to buy something with $10,000 cash. You know what I mean? You don't. Let me put it this way. This is a perfect scenario, because this kind of brings me back to being young. My first property that I bought required $10,000 down. I didn't have $10,000 down. I signed and agreed to buy the property. I put $500 down, but I knew I didn't have the $10,000, but I got a 6-month escrow. So I go, okay, I'm risking $500, but I have 6 months to raise 10 grand. So what did I do? I also got access to the property, free access to the property. So I moved into the property. I literally moved in and lived in a commercial building. And at the same time, I no longer paid rent now. So I was saving, whatever. I mean, actually, to be honest, the building I had before that, I was renting a building, and times had gotten so tough that I actually moved out of my place that I was renting for personal, and I moved into the building I was in, and the landlord found out that I was living in the building where I was building cabinets. I started a business. It was struggling. And anyways, he says, Tom, you can't live here. He goes, this place is going to catch on fire. You're going to get killed. I'm going to get sued. This is no good. He says, please start looking for another place. And I did. And I found a place to buy. I ended up I didn't look for it. I was looking for a place to rent. Turned out an opportunity to buy. I bought it. That's how I realized I can buy something at 19 years old with no credit. I got 6-month escrow. Okay. The 6-month escrow allowed me to move in, live there for free, save the $10,000, had the down payment when that day came 6 months later, and right after I bought it, somebody offered me $20,000 more than I paid for it. Well, I didn't take that offer because I was already living in the place. I had a cabinet shop established. I was building a business. That was my dream at the time, and but that stuck. Wow, I just made 20 grand. Somebody just offered me 20 grand more than I just paid for this. So then I 100% stuck on looking for more property, more deals. I found deals that I found deals that I couldn't afford, and that's where I'm going with your question. I found deals that I couldn't afford to buy. So it's always good to look. So don't be afraid to look for properties that you can't afford. It's okay. If you understand the market and you understand what something is worth, and you get your name on the contract that allows you to buy it for substantially less than it's worth. Now you're in a position where you can approach a partner and say, look, let's buy this together and we'll split the money. Because that's what I did. And probably 5 properties, and I'm only talking, we were splitting $15,000 to $30,000 a deal. But after 5 deals, I probably had, $40,000 in my pocket now. And the next one that came along was an FHA deal, $15,000 down. I don't need a partner. I got the cash. I put that money down, bought that, flipped it, and now I had $60,000, $70,000. And then right about that time, I bought a home for myself. And I was 25 years old. I think I was 25. Yeah, 25 years old. Bought a big, bitchin' beautiful house, $145,000. The place was probably worth $200 when I bought it for $145. huge kidney-shaped pool, 41 cypress trees around. It was gorgeous. And I lived in there quite a while, and the economy tanked, and I still sold it for $220. So listen, if you've got cash, if you got $10,000 cash, first of all, protect it. Understand that cash is an amazing tool. It is easy to, I'll bring this up from time to time. This is a book full of notes. These are property deals that I did in the 80s and 90s, and there's $1 million worth of profits here. And some of these are where I made $10,000 cash and a $5,000 note, meaning somebody made payments to me. Somewhere where I made $5,000 and I got a $10,000 note. There's a note in there that's worth $295,000. They owed me $295,000. That's a deal that I bought for $140, sold for $520. So you can figure the difference on that. $380,000 profit, less about $30,000 commission to the real estate agents. So $350,000. So I pocketed $70,000 cash, and this is all in just a few weeks. $70,000 cash, and now the people that had that note paid me almost $30,000 a year. They paid me $2,450 a month. That comes out to just under $30,000 a year. And so now here I am. I mean, I got $2,500 a month in the 80s. Believe me, you could live on that much money back then, right? You could live on that. You know, I drink that much wine now per month. You know, that is how drastic and how cool and how fantastic things can become. And so, you know, like I say, but, you know, 25, you know, and I made that deal. I think I made that deal closer to, let's see, what would I have been? I made that deal. I already know because that deal closed in 1990, January 1990. So that means I did it in 1989 when I bought it, and then I sold it right afterwards. So in 1989, I would have been 27 years old. So I was 27 years old, and just with that one deal, I had $2,500 a month coming in. But I'd already made damn near, probably about $1 million prior to that one. And so that's the kind of deals that you can make. And here's the deal. Even if I didn't have any money, if I had a contract, and keep in mind, that property that I just described to you, I only put $35,000 down. I paid $140,000 for 70 acres, $2,000 an acre. I bought it from John Kiffmeyer, and he's long dead for sure. He was but anyways, and here's the funny thing. This guy he was a hoot. He was a kick. So I get a hold of him. We get to talk, and we want to make a deal. And he said, oh, I got this, and I'll sell it to you. And I said, well, how much do you want for it? You know, it's in my book. Let the seller make the offer, right? It's a chapter in my book, by the way. And he says, I'll sell it to you for $2,000 an acre. And I'm thinking, that sounds like a great deal. And I go, well, you know, you think that's fair? I go, what do you think it's worth? He goes, I think it's worth millions. And I go, am I being conned? You know? And in all honesty, it's worth millions now, for sure. But anyways, here's the deal. It wasn't worth millions, but it was worth $500,000. And he was selling it to me for $140,000. I made that money. That can happen for you, O-Sing, or if I'm saying that correctly. Okay, so now Brian, we got another question here from Brian. Tom, I had a question. Are there any tax issues when buying property under market from a parent? Yes, there is. Property is a rental, not their primary. I mean, listen, I'll tell you, talk to your CPA, but I mean, here's the deal. Okay, look, you can't, there can be some tax implications. Let's just say I had a property, I paid $500,000, and I can't sell it to my daughter for $300 and take a $200,000 loss. Okay, I can sell it to her for $300. There's no problem with that at all. But I can't take the loss that I obviously would be having if I sold it to her so cheap after buying it. So that could be a tax implication. The other thing is, the bottom line is you just can't do anything that would dodge taxes. You can certainly give your kids a good deal. I just sold my daughter a property recently for $220,000. I carried a note for $120,000. She put $100,000 down. Very proud of her. My daughter's only been out of school for about 2.5 years, and she put $100,000 cash down. And so okay, Brian wrote, she bought it for $70K. I'm buying it for $85K. I don't see any issues with that, Brian, at all. No problem at all. In fact, you need to go get that thing signed right now. You should stop watching. Go get that thing signed before she changes her mind. Yeah, no, you're good. Buy it. I don't see any problems for anybody. She's selling it to you for $15,000 more than she paid for it. I mean, it's subjective what it's worth over and above that. Hey, good for you, Brian. Congrats. I'm glad you got it, buddy. That's fantastic. Brian's in the class, by the way. So, yeah, that's fantastic, Brian. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Be in tomorrow and share it with the class. I can tell you right now, listen, if you're just watching here, listen, I've got a book. There it is right there. Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. Urge you to buy it. I don't care if you buy it or not, but you can get it from Amazon, order it from Kindle. If you get the paperback, you can, hey, that's fantastic. So you made $50,000. That's fantastic, Brian. Glad to hear it. Now, believe me, this could be the beginning of your seed capital that'll make you millions of dollars. Listen, I can tell you deals I've lost because I wasn't prepared. That's what you need. That's what you get with me. You got to, look at, and I like Ben Mala, and Ben's a perfect example of how mentorship works so well for some people. Ben will tell you, he did a video on it, that he had a good mentor. He had a mentor. He had somebody, but believe me, I'm sure he brought, I'm sure he was a hell of a hard worker and everything else, but that's what it takes. He's dedicated, want to make money, and it's, in fact, if you get a chance, listen to my interview of Ben. Yeah, I have a video, Ben Mala, and Dropping Gems, I think is what we referred to it as. It's got him looking at a big giant diamond, and he is a generous man. He's a very nice guy. I really like him a lot, and I appreciate him coming in and talking to me and my students, and he shared. But what I was going to say is he had a mentor, and that's why my students are becoming millionaires in a year and a half, because they got a good mentor. And the reason why you need to really discern who you're going to let be your mentor is you got to have proof. You got to have proof that they know what they're doing. I mean, are you going to have some guy that's overweight tell you how to lose weight? You know what I'm talking about? And if you got some empty vessel of a mentor that is nothing, just full of bullshit and hot air, that's kind of what you're getting. You're kind of getting the fitness guy that's out of shape. It's silly. So let's see what else is written here. Faze, go ahead. And again, congrats on Brian. Anybody else got any questions or anything you want to talk about? I probably better get going here. Damn, is it already that time? Oh, yeah, I'm going to be in trouble. Anyways, so look, I'm gonna have to wrap it up pretty soon. I actually got to go get some wine and some food. So look, thanks, Brian. Congrats again. Oh, hey, I got a call. I'm gonna take this call. I'll take this call, everybody, and hang out and let's listen to whomever is calling. Hello. Hello. Hello.
How you doing, Thomas? Carlos?
This is Carlos?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hey, Carlos, bear with me 1 second. Folks in the audience, hang on. I gotta text my girlfriend here real quick. Time's gotten away. It's
No
kind
worries,
of... oh, boy. I can't do that. Hang on. Okay, go ahead, Carlos.
Thank you, Tom. No, I just wanted to add everybody, and I was in the free webinar yesterday.
Oh, you were in there. Oh, yeah. Okay. Carlos
and,
Perez. Yep. Very good. Yeah.
Yes,
And so, Carlos, tell me, tell everybody here, please. You can just clarify this. I made it very clear that if you don't have money, I don't want you in the mentorship. Is that true? I told you I didn't want anybody to borrow the money. I didn't want anybody to take it on their credit card. If you didn't have the money established and saved, I said don't get in the mentorship. Fair to say?
Yes, sir. You actually we went over that in the webinar too. That you'd rather somebody just have at least a little bit of capital before jumping in. Don't spend all your money on the mentorship, even though it's totally worth it. It's better. You wouldn't want to do that to somebody. So yeah, you're really genuine. You actually helped me out with a question I had once. I signed up for the free call or contact. You reached out to me, and I basically told you, I have a property that I co-signed that I'm trying to get rid of. It's in bad shape, and you gave me some really good solid advice to leapfrog it, just sell it. And thankfully it's good to go. So it's under contract now. The buyers just picked it up, and so I'm getting a nice little. It's probably going to be like, I don't know if it's technically a sale, but that'll be my first sale.
Yeah, that's good, man. Get it sold. No, it's true.
Many, so.
Yeah, so what Carlos was talking about, and I don't remember the exact conversation because I've had a lot of them like this. Basically, he came to me and talked to me at a property. I think you had a property, either you and your partner between you really couldn't do anything to fix it up, but it was worth more than what you paid for it, so you just get rid of it. And I'm glad you got it under contract, and hopefully you close that thing up. And I look forward to seeing you in the mentorship sometime. But that's not an unusual story. A lot of people, if just from the free advice they've gotten me and the money that they've saved and the way that I've helped them, they're like, man, I'm joining. Or, I made money. Or they bought the book and then they made money. And they go, I always like to refer to Garrett because Garrett made $25,000 on a trailer doing exactly what I told him. Kai's in the class. Kai said, he missed a deal. And I told him, it was on the phone. I said, don't stop watching this show. Go do this right now. And he missed it. And I bring it up from time to time. And, Kai is awesome. I'm telling you, I got the best class you could ever wish to be in. The best and brightest. And the reason is I scrutinize who I let in. I don't want people that don't have the ability to learn. In fact, when you get in my class, you're not even allowed to talk in the mentorship meetings. You're not allowed to ask any questions for the first month because your questions are going to be boring to everybody else that's already been in there. You get through the 1 month course is going to make you smarter, brighter, better. And after that month, you will be on par with most of the class. And you will see, what's wonderful is you'll see people, you can go back and you watch, I got 300 and some odd hours now of mentoring that is on record for people to see. And that alone is so valuable, what's in there. But you can go back and you'll see this guy that started, that didn't know anything, didn't have anything, and then all of a sudden you see him do a deal, then another deal, and then all of a sudden you see he's a millionaire in a short time, or he's made a couple $100,000, or he's made some money, even if it's $70,000 or whatever. People make deals at different rates and different paces, and opportunity comes to those that dig and look for it. And if you don't dig and look for it, I guarantee it may fall in your lap. You might be lucky, but it goes back to the old saying, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And that's the truth. The harder you work, the more you work at it, the luckier. And it's not luck, but fortune will find you if you really put the effort forward and look. And it's kind of like digging for gold. You might tap into a vein of gold that'll take you to, tens of millions. Or you might just be chipping away and, take a few $100s in nuggets every day. That's the life of a prospector. And that's kind of what we all are. We're prospectors. And some of us, have a gold strike and hit, a home run, as I call it, early. and Liam, who's in here, he had a home run, made $350,000 or $360,000 on one deal, and and that was coming behind him making $200,000 on, I don't know, one or two deals before that. And that's what happens. Is it's not luck. It's not luck. You can be lucky relative to your studying, and you're trying to make money, and you're doing all the right things, following the fundamentals and things that I show you. You may get lucky. I mean, you're going to make money, but that's the beauty is maybe you'll make $10,000, maybe you'll make a million. It can happen. So anyways, well, I appreciate you calling in and sharing that, Carlos, and it was a pleasure talking to you last night and the other people that were in the class. And, like I say, we got a great group, and you should be a part of it. You should be a part of it. So.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and hello, everybody. Tom's great, and thank you, Tom. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Take care. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
All right. So, look, unless somebody calls, I'm going to call it quits here. But, hey, thanks for watching, everybody, again. Please hit subscribe, and we're on the subscribe button. If you don't have my book, get my book. And I will leave you with this rap that I actually wrote, this rap song. Okay, I actually wrote it. Okay, but I'm not the one that's singing it. But enjoy this, and we'll see you guys soon.
Stop and listen. Time is on a mission to eliminate all the snake oil and the fake gurus that fake y'all. He'll show you how to build an empire, starting with nothing but a desire. All you really need is a good mentor, not a used car bullshit. With time, you'll learn to crush it. Investing like Warren Buffett. With real estate, you cannot procrastinate. Everyone who hesitates is left at the starting gate. Hey, yo, so don't delay and join today. The mentorship and flip anything USA. Go.